was the Jane-Grace debate. Christine wanted Jane and I wanted Grace. And the morning after Grace was born, on the 16th of January 1984, we bought the newspaper, and the headline of the newspaper was "Cyclone Grace bides her time." So there was a cyclone in Queensland which was approaching the coast of Australia, and it was called Cyclone Grace. So that's called an omen. Where was Cyclone Jane? But she is called Grace Jane, so we Grace Jane. And Grace was, I have to inform you a little bit about her growing up, because probably you don't know, my role is to inform you about her childhood, which was, at the age of 6 months she was performing, because we had a family band. We used to travel around and sing songs in schools and kindergartens, and Grace sat on the floor at 6 months just shaking a shaker, just chilling out. Her brother and sister earned their money, they were doing sort of stuff, but Grace just sat there. At 6 months she was performing, and she did very well. And so at age 5, Grace joined me and we performed together. So Grace and I used to travel doing shows together in kindergartens mainly from the time she was 5, and we had this exquisite show that we did together, which is one of the high points of my life, where I come on and I do a little magic trick and I say I'm going to do some shrinking magic, and I have big beach balls and I juggle them and I go around the back and I come out with little tiny balls, and they say, you just got different ones. And I have big scarves and I juggle those and I say, okay, shrinking magic, and I go around the back of the backdrop and I come out with a little tiny scarf. They go, you just swapped them. Okay, watch this. I'll do some shrinking magic. So I get the magic wand and I wave it over the top of me and I go around the back of the backdrop, and Grace would come out the other side. Grace is exactly the same. At age 5, say, see, here I am, small.
Powiedziała, że to wymyślił. Powiedziała, że to wymyślił.
They like that, I know. But it was really quite scary, because often this is kindergarten shows where the kids are 4 or 5 years old, and often there'd be this incredible silence like, whoa, that's freaking me right out. And sometimes they'd say, I want the big one back. This is and Grace would do a few little magic tricks, and then I'd come out and we'd do the show together. So we did that until she was 18. We travelled together doing our show, and which was excellent. And Grace is the most hard-working professional. From the time she was 5, we'd travel, and sometimes it was hard. We'd count down, 20 shows to go, one down, and we'd just get through those 2 weeks of travelling. And yeah, it was a great privilege to work with Grace, and she learned to work in that time. My next little story anecdote is of this beautiful space that we're in today, and Grace had the privilege of growing up next to a forest in Australia, and the one little bit I remember is with her friend Claire that she grew up with from age 0. They used to have cubbies all around the bush, and they'd go into the bush and they'd make little cubbies and places, and they had a special place in the creek bed, in the river bed. They had a place where there were different coloured stones, and they would grind up the stones and make paste, and they would paint their faces and have corroborees at age 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that was very special. And one time they invited all the family along, so we all went down to the creek bed and we all painted our faces and we sang and drummed and banged on the rocks, and we had corroborees, which is Australian for party. Thank you, Claire, for that. That was good.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And then to inform Grace's travel. Sorry, how long, Christine? Sorry, 1 minute. I think this is a compromise. When Grace was 14, she travelled to the other side of the world with Christine. Christine returned to England, her homeland, and brought Grace with her. And I think Grace saw there was this other side of the world that she'd never seen, and that whet her appetite. for travel and the big picture that presents to you. So when she was 16, she applied to go on a Rotary exchange journey, and you were asked to give your 3 preferences for countries. So she wrote down the classic sort of ones of Brazil, France, Belgium? Germany, yeah. So Brazil, France, Germany, you know, all the exchange students wanted to go. So there's a big weekend where you had to find out which country you were going to go to. And they got there, and I think they told Grace and 2 other girls, they called them in and said, look, we can't give you your country of choice because we've run out of options. So we have to give you something else. And we've chosen you, I'm not sure if that's true, but they mollified them by saying, you 3 girls are really strong and we know you can go somewhere you don't want to go.
Nobody wanted to go there.
So we've given you the choice. Go to South Africa, Poland, and that was it, yeah. I think the United States. No. South Africa or Poland, you can go there. And Grace said, oh, I'll go to Poland. Where is it? So, yeah, she went to Poland, hence her 3 wonderful friends have made the journey from Poland as well. I think my time's up.
Keep going.
That was the story.
And I'll quote, don't start him. No, I think I just really wanted to present a little picture of Grace growing up after. So she went to Poland for a whole year, and we just, our hearts ached so much when she left, and she was there without the language, and it was really, really hard to start. But she came back about 10 years older, and a wonderful, you know, after that experience at 16 years old to go to Poland for a year, she just came back glowing and shining with the other side of the world, and keeps glowing and growing since then. And then immediately she finished her school, year 12, she worked for a year and saved money, and the first thing she wanted to do was to go back to Poland because she just loved the people and she just wanted to go back and be there, which she did straight away, and travelled then and came back. I should just mention the first time I met Damien, of course. Yeah, it's Grace met Damien on the dance floor, as everybody knows. In the mythology. So Grace and Damien met on the dance floor, and then she brought Damien home to our place. Not much of a little Scots man. Yeah, 34 camels. Grace brought Damien to our house, and so, oh, g'day, how are you? Yeah, right, that's me, yeah, right. It's a bit scary when your girl brings a boy home. Yeah, right, yeah, okay. G'day, what do you do? Yeah, right. But we sat down after we had a cup of tea, we sat down in the lounge room, and of course, actions speaking louder than words, we started to play drum. We had drums lying all over the lounge room, so we just started drumming together, and we just sitting there just and then we had this wonderful cathartic moments where we just playing away. Oh yeah, I'm listening to you, I'm listening to me, and then suddenly we just stopped together at the same moment. Wow. Wow. So we did it again. 6, 8, and then we just drumming away, yeah, and then we just stopped. Wow, yeah, he's all right. Basically, that was his rite of passage. And since then, it's all been uphill. So, yeah, my time, sit down.